Hello and welcome everyone on the Information Technology and Service Management PCB webinars. My name is Bilal Shala, the PCB organizer of this webinar, and today's topic is benefits of implementing ISO 20000 within your organization. This webinar will be presented by Mr. Tim Oyesanya. Mr. Oyesanya is Technology Management Consultant, Certified Information System Security Professional, Certified Information System Auditor, and Project Management Professional. He is also PCB Certified Trainer. Please write your questions and comments in the question box in the right-hand control panel, or you may use the option to raise your hand, and Mr. Oyesanya will answer to them accordingly at the end of this presentation. Mr. Oyesanya, you may start the presentation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Blair. I'm pleased to welcome everyone here at this webinar. The topic for this webinar is benefits of implementing ISO 20000 within your organization, and I shall be sharing a lot of the benefits that your organization stands to gain if you decide to go the route or the route of ISO 20000 for implementing IT service management within your organization. All right, as rightly introduced, my name is Olutimilehin Oyesanya. I'm a technology management consultant, and I work with Philips Consulting here in Nigeria. Here in Nigeria, we support a lot of organizations in implementing best practices and frameworks such as PCI DSS, ISO 27001, ISO 20000, COVID-5, and we also specialize in information security management consulting, such as business continuity and disaster recovery, vulnerability management and penetration testing, ASV scanning, and the likes, including risk management and as well as project management. And we conduct trainings in all of this. I'm a certified trainer with PECB, and I'm here to present, to show you the benefits your organization can derive by implementing ISO 20000. All right, let's go on. Okay, my credentials are already listed up there. You will see them, and of course, you will have access to this webinar at the end of this presentation should you decide to listen again to this webinar. All right. Okay, so here's what we're going to go through. We have, we're going to quickly define or look into what ISO 20000 is all about, the processes involved, why is ISO 20000 vendor neutral, benefits, who can benefit, and the conclusion of what ISO 20000 is all about, and what are the next steps to take if you decide to go this route. All right. So what's ISO 20000? ISO 20000 is the international best practice standard for IT service management. Of course, we have some other frameworks which also deal with IT service management, such as ITIL. But ISO 20000 is the standard which organizations can decide to certify against or measure themselves against. It provides a lot of requirements, standardized requirements, which organizations have to comply to for them to be able to certify as an ISO 20000 compliant organization. All right, it contains a lot of requirements that will standardize IT processes within the organization. So we'll be looking at some of these IT processes in a nutshell as quickly as possible. All right. Okay, like I said earlier on, it contains a lot of requirements that allows service providers, which of course are organizations that provide IT services. This could be internal IT organizations or IT departments. It provides requirements or sets requirements for them to be able to plan, establish, implement, operate, monitor, review, maintain, and improve a service management system. In other words, it helps them improve the quality of their IT service delivery to their customers, be it an internal department or an organization that focuses on delivering IT services to its customer. It contains, the ISO 20000 contains requirements that help in standardizing all these processes. Of course, it takes a lot of business requirements, customer requirements, and follows the framework of the plan, do, check, and act in order to produce business results. Of course, we will be seeing the advantages of these business results in a short while now. Okay, like I said, ISO 20000 has some few processes that we are, about 16 processes that we are going to quickly look at, and some of the processes include capacity management, service continuity and availability management, incidents and request management, problem management, business risk management. These are some of the processes involved, and they are all tightly linked together. That is why the ISO 20000 follows an integrated service approach, meaning all these services work together in order to deliver value to the customer, to ensure the customer enjoys the value it pays for, or enjoys the value in IT service delivery. It ensures your organization derives the value of ensuring that you have standardized IT processes. Okay, so we'll be looking at some of these advantages. All right, ISO 10000 is vendor neutral. It aligns to ITIL. ITIL forms part of this base standards. Okay, if we quickly look at the structure on screen, we'll notice that the first two parts are the part 1 and the part 2 of the ISO 10000. Part 1 contains the requirements. Part 2 contains the guidance for implementing or application of these requirements. All right, and it sits on best practices such as ITIL. So if you have an ITIL foundation, that's a good starting point for you to implement ISO 20000. Okay, so what does this ISO 20000, which is the IT service management standard, what does it contain? It usually contains policies, people with defined responsibilities, contains a lot of planning, service operation processes, performance assessment, management reviews are being done, and of course, there's a culture of improvement that is adopted into the service management system. So these are the few things that are contained within a service management system. Like I said, it's a system. It contains processes, procedures, technology that makes the whole service management system work. All right. So let's go to the core of this webinar, which is the benefits that your organization stands to derive if you decide to align with ISO 20000. What are the benefits your organization stands to get? What is in ISO 20000 for me or for my organization? Okay. So the first thing there is there's a better alignment of IT services and the business. Simply put, IT becomes a better enabler in ensuring the business achieves its objectives. In another way, it simply means now IT understands the business. IT is able to support the business in achieving its goals. Supposing the business decides today that, oh, we need to do an expansion, or we need to bring an application on board, or we need to achieve the goal of implementing a particular procedure or process, IT has the plan to ensure that that goal is derived, meaning that business enjoys the value of IT. When that happens, there's a better synergy between the business and IT. Definitely, there's going to be a good alignment between IT and the business. So this is what ISO 20000 also does for you. It ensures that management understands the importance of bringing ISO 20000 on board. Management sees the value of ensuring that all IT services are properly aligned. It gives agility to IT be able to solve the business. So those are the advantages of one of the advantages of implementing ISO 20000. All right. So we have increased. Okay. Sorry about that. Let me quickly. Okay. All right. It improves the corporate image and credibility. Simply put, when you decide to implement ISO 20000 and you get certified and you showcase it to the world, it gives better credibility. People trust you more because they have an understanding that, wow, you've been able to get your organization or your company to the level where it's to the standards recognized worldwide. And in other words, it allows your customers to have more confidence in you, which takes me to the next slide. It increases your reputation and customers' confidence. People are confident to put their money or to invest in your business. People are confident to deal with you because they know they will get better responses. They know you've improved in your IT service delivery. They know you have invested in ensuring that you have matured in the way you deliver quality IT service. All right. And when the customer, of course, trusts you, when the customer has good confidence in you, you don't need to do a lot of marketing. They will talk to their peers. They will do the marketing for you. They will speak to others for you. And in other words, it brings in more revenue for your organization. All right. Okay. And of course, it allows adoption of an integrated process of delivering IT services. Of course, like I said earlier on, it's and it contains an integrated process approach for implementing the various processes within the IT ISO 20000. So, and it allows other frameworks, other standards to also integrate seamlessly along with it, meaning it can also be implemented along other standards because the majority of the standards follow the same framework. All right. The next is it reduces incidents and of course improves incident management. This simply means that because you have been ISO 20000 and allows your processes to be more proactive, it allows you to look into incidents that probably have underlying problems. It allows you to be proactive. And when it allows you to be proactive, it helps you to better solve problems. It helps you to reduce incidents. When you know the source of the problem and you are able to remove that problem, then you can reduce incidents that can arise out of that problem. Of course, it also helps you to plan alternative measures. It helps you to create a knowledge bank. These are some of the advantages of ensuring that incidents are reduced if you implement ISO 20000. Okay, of course, it's because ISO 20000 involves your senior management. They are involved. They are able to give their support. So it's not a thing of, oh, IT is doing their thing. Okay, we are doing, the business is doing their thing. The senior management is deeply involved, and that creates a better synergy, a better alignment between IT services and the business. All right, there's a reduction in response times and interruptions to IT service because the IT services have matured in the processes, because the IT services has matured in terms of business continuity planning, because it enables ISO 20000 enables your IT processes to be mature in terms of problem management and incident management. It sets service level agreements such that if service level agreements are not met within a time frame, it's been escalated. And when a service desk officer knows this will be escalated, it ensures that that particular incident is resolved on time. Okay. Let's go on to the next one, which is it's improve. We have improved management of costs, which leads to financial savings. Now, this simply means that IT is able to ensure that you sometimes, for some organizations, you charge for your services properly. It helps you to be able to budget properly. There's an accounting system, there's a financial accounting or financial management system that is embedded within ISO 20000, such that it allows you to charge properly. If you decide to do internal or external chargebacks, it is done by this particular process. And when you are doing that, the business itself can see the contribution of IT to the business. IT will not be seen as a cost center all the time, but rather they will see IT as bringing value to the business because they are able to see in terms of financial amounts of financial management what IT is bringing to the table. So there's a financial management portion of ISO 20000, and you implementing this will ensure that IT services are properly budgeted for. It ensures that you are able to account for every IT service. You are able to account for expenditures that are made into IT, and this generally will lead into a lot of cost savings. Okay, there is a fundamental shift to being proactive rather than reactive processes, because your processes will mature from being reactive to being proactive. It ensures that incidents are resolved on time. It ensures that a lot of issues that are happening are being resolved on time. Let's take, for instance, if a lot of problems or incidents are coming out of a problem, which I earlier explained, and you have your problem management process kick in, all right, that is able to resolve issues that are underlying the incident. In other words, there's a proactive measure, or there's a proactive process that is always monitoring all the process. And because also it has a continual improvement life cycle model, it ensures that its things or incident management flows, problem management flows, flows within processes are gradually improved. It ensures that you take proactive steps in resolving issues, proactive steps in resolving business issues, and proactive steps in also protecting the business. And then it also, because we have a process called capacity management, it ensures that whenever the business raises a demand, there's a plan to already cover that demand. So ISO 20000 makes an organization more proactive than being reactive. All right. It also allows a culture of continuous improvement, because there is a process that actually looks into the improvement of all the other processes and ensures that the organization is making the process of improvement part of its culture. So there's a process that looks into that. So it makes the whole process of improvement seamless within the organization. Okay, let's go on to the overall benefits. After listing all the individual benefits, the overall benefits include it provides a structured framework for setting IT service management objectives. Simply put, there is a framework. There is a step-by-step approach. There's a systematic approach in ensuring that IT services are delivered successfully. All right. It ensures that appropriate process is followed to establish effective IT service management process. There are guidelines, there are processes, there are procedures. Everything is standardized. Not meaning it's not an ad hoc thing, meaning it's not a thing that anybody can just stand up within the organization and embark on maybe a change management. There's a new application coming on board, oh, let's change it. It's not like that. There's a systematic way of doing things. There's a laid down guideline of doing things. There's a change management process that you must go through to ensure you bring that particular application on board. So things are properly documented, processes are followed, exceptions are flagged. So there's a systematic way of doing things. So it's not disorganized. So it's something that an organization can venture into and ensure they have an idea of what's happening in each area. Okay. There's also an emphasis. He emphasizes regular review so that processes stay up to date. Meaning a regular review, the management has an oversight function to ensure that the service management system works. Simply put, there is an oversight function that ensures that processes are reviewed on a regular basis. Okay. And like next point also states it encourages continual improvement in IT service management, simply because it's now part of the culture. It's now part of the organization. Everybody is looking at improving processes. If there's a flow, a change management flow, it's not static, meaning there could be a change that will improve the process depending on the size of the organization. And I'll also like to mention this. ISO 20000 is independent, is not dependent on the size of the organization, meaning small organizations, medium organizations, large organizations can implement it, and because it's not vendor specific, any type of organization, either in the oil and gas, either in the production, either in the manufacturing, either in the banking sector, all sectors can actually reap benefits in implementing ISO 20000. Okay. The last point there is it ensures that everyone is aware of their roles and responsibilities in IT service management, simply because we have roles and responsibilities already specified within the ISO 20000 standard. For the organization, everybody is aware of their roles. There's a standard document that talks about the roles of each person involved in the ISO 20000. So, and this will be communicated to them. So in other words, nobody is running helter-skelter looking for who is responsible for what. Everything has been properly documented. So it has a great lot of benefits for the organization, and the organization stands to benefit more than they can think of. They stand to enjoy services better than they think of. They stand to enjoy quality from the services delivered by IT. They stand to derive value from IT in it. Okay, so who are the organizations that can benefit from ISO 20000? If there's an organization seeking the service of another service provider, and they need some sort of assurance that this service provider can meet their requirements, then they need to check or confirm if that organization is ISO 20000. So as a customer, I can ask or check if an organization is ISO 20000 compliant, and this gives me an assurance that they know what they are doing and the quality of their IT services will be good. All right. Organizations that desire to improve in their level of service delivery, they intend to ensure their approach to delivery of services is consistent. Then they can apply the systematic way by which ISO 20000 delivers its own services. So it's also for organizations like that. All right, if you also have a service provider that intends to demonstrate its capability for the design, or it intends to showcase to the world that it has improved in its own processes for design, transition, delivery, and implement of services that fulfill service requirements, then they can decide to implement ISO 20000. Okay, if we have a service provider who is interested in monitoring, measuring, and reviewing its own service management processes, then they can also look at implementing ISO 20000. If we have another service provider who desires to improve its processes, its operation of its service management processes, then they can also decide to look into ISO 20000. Okay, so what are the next steps if we decide to implement ISO 20000? First thing is to ensure your top management is interested in ISO 20000, which is to obtain clear management commitment, because without this, the ISO 20000 implementation will be short-lived. So we need a clear management commitment to this whole process. Okay, then you need to form a project team, create a plan. You need to agree on the scope of the service management system, meaning that you can reduce the scope based on your the experience of the consultants available, or the amount of funding the organization is willing to provide to implement the whole system. So you need to agree on the scope, and as the management says or team sees fit that they need to expand the level of service delivery, they can decide to increase their scope later on. You need to perform a gap assessment against the standard, define your IT service management policy, then you start to engage fully with the business. All right, in concluding this webinar, the process of adopting and implementing ISO 20000 is actually a demanding project depending on the scope, and actually requires a lot of resources. It has a lot of benefits which can surely increase the performance and image of your organization. And beyond this, having a good knowledge of key ITO processes is a good starting point to begin with implementation. Okay, so I hope with these few slides you've been able to understand what ISO 20000 is all about and the benefits your organization stands to get from ISO 20000. Thank you very much.
Mr. Oyesanya, thank you very much for this highly informative presentation. And now, as we have some time left, we will go through some questions. In fact, first I can see that Ms. Maria Dolugargi has raised her hand, so I'm going to unmute her microphone and she can ask her questions.
All right.
Okay, dear Maria, I have unmuted you, so please continue with your question.
No, I don't have any question. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Okay, we will continue with another question. One of attendees has asked you, what challenges will a company face when implementing the ISO 20000?
Okay. Now, one of the greatest challenges that you might encounter while trying to implement ISO 20000 is if you don't have support from your top management. The implementation can easily run dry if you don't have support. So if you can get support from and when I mean support in terms of galvanizing the required resources, in terms of providing the desired funding, because sometimes a lot of things might change. For instance, you might need to implement an automated service management system that can help you record incident management issues, can help you record problem or create problem logs, can help you create an automated change management system. If your organization desires to go that route, then funding is involved. And if your management is not going to support in terms of funding, then it might be difficult in implementing. All right. Sometimes you could face challenges with staff within the organization who are not receptive to change. When you encounter this, one major thing you need to do is you need to find change champions that can help you to convince such kind of staff. Change champions that, especially both at senior management level and mid management level, that can help you galvanize support in helping you execute your desire to implement ISO 20000. Also, if the resources you have on ground, they don't have adequate knowledge of ITO processes, this might also be a challenge while implementing ISO 20000. So, but the most important part is the will and the support of your top management to be able to see the implementation through, because if they are willing to support you all through, then they can provide the needed support, both in terms of funding and in terms of administrative support, and ensuring that staff cooperate with you. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oyesanya. We have one question more. One of attendees has asked you, how does ISO 20000 compare with ITIL?
All right. in one of my previous presentations, I showed that we have different parts of ISO 10000 and also ITIL also forming part of that structure. Now, ISO 20000 is a standard. ITIL is a framework. ISO 10000, of course, also works and is aligned with ITIL. It takes a lot of the ITIL processes. It works with a lot of the ITIL processes. That's why I said having a good knowledge of ITIL will help you in implementing ISO 20000, because of course the ISO 20000 is based also on a lot of the ITIL processes, except that ISO 20000 has become a standard. Organizations certify against ISO 20000 while individuals certify against ITIL. We don't have organizations certifying against ITIL, no. Organizations certify against ISO 20000 while individuals certify against ITIL. ISO 20000 is not as in-depth as ITIL, but ITIL is very thorough and very in-depth, okay? So that's why we always recommend, whenever we go out on projects in a lot of the places where we worked in banks, in organizations, we ensure that we also train their staff with ITIL, because it's going to really help in implementation of ISO 20000. Of course, ITIL has been around before ISO 20000, no doubt. That's why ITIL has evolved and standardized a lot of processes. Okay, ISO 20000 is only a standard that works on other best practices. Best practices including ITIL, COVID, ISO 7001. It sits on those other best other frameworks. So ITIL is a best practice framework, while ISO 20000 is only a standard comprising of a lot of processes that are gotten from probably other frameworks, and organizations now certify against them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oyesanya. We do not have any other questions, and I want to thank you once more for this great presentation and also for answering the questions. I want to thank all attendees as well for taking the time out of your busy schedules and join us this webinar. We hope you enjoyed this webinar, and you can watch this session recorded and view the presentation slides on our website www.pcb.com. Please be informed that next Monday we are hosting another webinar. In fact, next Tuesday we are hosting another webinar titled Assessing the Impact of Disruption, Building an Effective Business Impact Analysis Approach using ISO 22301 and the new ISO 2301 and 17 standard. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.